joining. Welcome this morning. I just want to give it a minute or two. While we're waiting for everybody, I just want to say thank you for actually taking the time out for this webinar. We hope to bring some valuable information and to everybody here. So thank you very much. I hope everybody is doing well. hope the sales, it's Jan Feb. Hope the people still attending to their New Year's resolutions, and that helps your clubs and studios to grow and expand. So we're excited, and we hope for that to basically increase. So yeah, thank you everybody. Thank you for joining. While everybody is joining, I think time is money and time is valuable. So we're going to start. Before we're going to the details, just a few house rules during the webinar. We are recording this webinar, so the recording will be available afterwards. So if you are not able to join or you want to send this recording to anyone, we can just we'll send the recordings out after the webinar. Please, and this is quite important, during the webinar, please type out your questions. And any questions that you've got on access control, please type it out so that we can deal with those questions at the end of and then we'll have a Q&A at the end of the presentation. So if you've got any questions, please feel free to ask us. Okay, great. Okay, so so it's me and Sven today that's presenting the webinar. So Sven is one of our onboarding consultants, and I'm in management. So so hopefully we can provide some valuable information. So just a quick agenda for today. So we're going to start off with discussing setup and configuration, setup, layouts of access control, just the basic overall access control and the best way to configure your access control. We're going to go through what types of gyms want to use access control or why they want to use access control, what access control looks like and the different options we have, the features we have, and then we'll go through a Q&A afterwards. Okay, great. So let's get this party started. Okay, so just before we start, just if you want to contact us, you can click, and if there's any questions afterwards and any setups you want to do, you can click on the help button, you can email us, or you can phone us. Okay, great. How to maximize the setup and effectiveness of the access control. So I think we need to understand the broad concept of a gym and why access control is this important. So if you really think about it, a gym is, it's actually a rental agreement. Your members pays a form of rental agreement to have access to facilities. Okay, so that is, so you provide access to equipment and facilities. So like anything else, let's take an apartment building or a rental property. You provide the access to the facilities and the use of the facilities, and someone pays rent for it. Now it's a very oversimplified concept, but it's the exact same concept as a gym, especially if you are more of a traditional gym where you just provide normal equipment, you've got normal classes, and yes, you've got value-added services, and there's a few things that is added to your club, but basically you're providing space and equipment rental for a fee. And that's why it's important to manage the access of people to those equipment and services. Now, here's a very important part, and I think everybody here, we all strive to do ethical business. Okay, everybody strives to be ethical in business and providing. So the question I want to ask yourself, and this is why access control is so important. If I've got member A that comes and his account is in arrears, he doesn't pay, but he accesses your gym every day. Okay, so he just comes in. So let's say you don't have a proper access control setup, access a gym versus the one that his debit order goes off, he's a regular payment. Now, is it fair towards the member that pays versus a member that's skating through, going through your facility and using your facility for free? It's not fair towards you as a business owner, but it's also not fair towards the member that's actually paying their bills. That's why it's important so that we can make it fair, not just for you as a business owner, so that you can make an income and pay your bills and pay your staff and make sure that you run a good business. But it's also fair towards the members, the members next to you, because really it's not fair for a member to pay full membership and then the other membership is not paid. I'm not including any memberships that we talk about that is free memberships or barter memberships, because there's a transaction. Is the transaction, is it a friendship, or is it someone providing, an influencer or someone doing some social media for you? I'm not talking about those situations. I'm just talking about a member that's just straight up not paying, but has access to your club. That's why it's important, so that we manage and control the use of equipment and facilities and who is able to use those facilities. Okay, so just a quick, so, if you just look at access control, we're taking, we enroll the member, a new member, they can just swipe their card, swipe their tag, and then they are able to enter your facilities. So access control is a very simple and, simple tool to use, but there's a few important things to note when it comes to access control. And I think the first and foremost, and sometimes I wish gyms consult and make sure of, the layout of their gym and their access control prior to, doing the huge investment in the access control. So if you just look at the photo, it's very important, if you do layout of access control, that non-members and and guests have access to your facilities, and your staff and your reception, and your services, without being able to enter your club. I've seen it multiple times where you've got people using, let's say, for example, a magnetic door or a normal, glass door as an access control, and their receptionist after the access control. So this means that you need to always override members, taking members through. That provides, now you're not really able to really effectively manage the control of members coming into the club, because any non-member, you need to give access to your club. That's why it's very important to have access to your staff and services without entering the club. You look at by people that's unpaid. Very interesting statistics that over 85% of all collections happen at point of sale, happen at, a member that comes to the club that gets blocked at access control, and they pay their memberships with credit card or with debit card or whatever the method they use. So that's why it's so important to have your layout ready and have your layout available, so that those members are able to, enjoy the services of your club. Same with guests. If anyone wants to, you've got guests that want to come to your club, you first can have, that service, that human interaction with your guests before they enter the club. Because a lot of the time, our guests don't need to enter the club. So you don't really just want people to get into a club without proper reason for it. Okay, so looking at just basic admin, this is unpaid members, someone that just wants to do a basic inquiry. Because look at statistics. If I just want to do a basic inquiry, the club is close to my work. I just quickly want to pay a bill, or I quickly want to do something. I can actually just go to the club, sort that out without entering. So that will not, interfere with your access stats, meaning that who's actually enjoying, using your club, time of day, and providing those stats to your club. So if you start having people need to enter the club for administration reasons, you do mess up your stats when it comes to actual people using your facilities for the purpose it needs to be used for. Okay, so inquiries, payments, and you only, like I said, you only want members and tours to have access to your club. Okay, so what type of gyms wants to use access control? Okay, so first and foremost is you want just that notification. Okay, so access control. If you look at access control, clubs that use this your facility, basically that rents out your facility. So it's not class-based facilities. It's people that is, they use your club only to gain access to your services. That's where you want access control, because it's just not viable for people to manage that if people just come into your club. The second option is that we want, if you've got open gym access, meaning that someone just can access your club. And the third option, when someone needs to use access control, is if you've got class-based facilities, but your classes are, operates on online bookings, for example. You don't do online booking, so you don't have someone that manages your bookings and facilities. That's when you want to use access control as well, because you need to access, like I said, going back to the first point of looking at being ethical, is so that not random members have access to your services without them having the proper consent to enjoy your services or facilities. Okay, so Sven, he's going to go through all the technical things, and he will go through the rest of the presentation.
Hi everyone, good morning. I'm Sven Damstra. I am a onboarding and hardware consultant. And basically today we're going to go through just some of our comparisons between our access types, basically our access end solutions. So our very first one we're going to go through is the biometric system. Now we do see that the biometric system does come in at a medium kind of cost in our process, but it does come with a high security level, which is quite nice. It just basically means that no one can basically get in or get access to your facility without using their fingerprint. It does have a very low reoccurring cost, which is quite nice, because if someone does need to uh, re-put in their fingerprint, all they have to do is just rescan. But unfortunately, it does come with some caveats under the maintenance side. Unfortunately, there is quite a lot of maintenance that does come with fingerprint scanners. I'm sure if you are one of our clients that have been actually using it, you have seen that every now and again it will turn off, and that actually can become quite frustrating, especially with load shedding and computers turning off and stuff like that. Sometimes the drivers can become corrupted, but that's perfectly fine. Basically, with our next end solution, this is going to be anywhere from RFIDs to our card scanners, really, slot card readers. We have initial cost is actually fairly low, which is quite nice, and the security level is at a kind of like a medium kind of range, just because if someone does lose their tag and someone does pick it up, it does mean that if the reception is kind of like an unmanned reception, that person will be able to scan that tag and gain entry if that person is an active member. The reoccurring cost and the maintenance, I would say personally, is around about a medium kind of range. The reoccurring cost basically means that as your company grows, as your actual gym grows, your business, obviously members will be coming into your facility, more and more members, so you would have to purchase more and more tags and cards. But I have seen over the years that I have been with Itensity, with gyms, that people actually get around this cost by actually adding an add-on product to those tariffs, which is like an administrative kind of add-on, and you can basically charge for that card just to get around some of that reoccurring cost. Cool. The next section we're going to be talking about is the different types of gates that we have been actually seeing in our gyms, anywhere ranging from tripod turnstiles, really, to our mag lock and interlocking doors. So what we're going to do is we're going to first start off with our turnstile kind of gates. We can see the security level is at a medium kind of level, and the access volume control is also fairly good. Basically, it just means if you have quite a long line of people, it just means that when someone scans either their tag or they scan their fingerprint, the gate will only allow one person through at a time, one full rotation basically. So no one will be able to squeeze through. Basically, the same kind of goes for the full height kind of turnstile as well. But unfortunately, the appearance compared to the normal type of turnstile is at a kind of like a poor kind of rating, just because it is kind of like an eyesore to have quite quite a large turnstile at your facility. But moving on to the maglock kind of system and the interlocking doors, they kind of work very, very similar, really. And the security level is fairly low, and also the access control, if you have quite a fair volume of people. Take, for instance, if someone does come through the gym, and also, for instance, if the reception is an unmanned reception, someone is able to leave that door open and allow other guests through. Cool. This is what technically access typically looks like at one of our facilities. City Rock, for example, someone is using the slot card reader to gain entry into their gym. Cool. So now basically we've talked about all of our kind of end solutions that work with the system of gaining members entry into your facility, but now we need something that actually manages all of that. And that's where the Itensity management software kiosk comes into play. So as we can see there in that little video that we have on the left, someone is basically handing over a tag like an admin to that person. The person is then scanning that tag on one of our RFID tag readers, and then they are gaining entry through the facility via one of those tripod turnstiles, which is quite nice. That, remember, only has one full rotation. Cool. So basically, those are a couple of the steps that we are going to go over in our next few slides. Before we move on, there is one thing at the bottom that we don't mention in one of our slides called offline. So basically, offline database basically means, for instance, like I am at the moment, unfortunately, I am in load shedding. So I don't know if you can hear that beep in the background, hopefully not. But basically, in the instance, as we all know, computers are going off when load shedding if you don't have any sort of generators in the background. And now one's like, okay, I don't have any sort of internet access or anything like that, but my computer's still on. Um, can my members still gain entry in my facility via the access system? I don't want to write stuff in books to make sure when people are coming and going. So basically, all you do is you can use the system exactly the same as you would normally use it, but it means that it unfortunately won't be updating as it's not connected to the internet. So you can still use the Itensity system for a short period of time, and then as soon as the internet comes back on, everything will start syncing once again, which is quite nice. Cool. If we can move on. Thank you very much, FJ. Cool. Our first one we're going to go over is basically how easy member enrollment is. So basically, this is the step after you have already signed someone up to your facility. They've come to you, they've chosen their package, they're ready to go. Now all they need to do is either be assigned their fingerprint if you are using the fingerprint side of access, but if you are using the RFID side of access, it's very easy. There's a couple steps. Just choose, you put either their name or their surname in, and you basically either can take a photo or you can assign a barcode there as well, just by tapping the barcode, and then it will automatically be assigned to their profile. And the next time they come to your facility to gym or come to a class, they'll be able to scan and enter your facility. Cool. The next section is basically going to be about how easy it is to find members without cards or tags. So you're always going to find, if you are using the tag system, that every now and again a member will be coming to you saying, unfortunately, I forgot my tag at home. I don't want to drive home. We all know how expensive petrol is nowadays, so we don't want to be going back and forth between your house and the gym. So what you can do is you can always use our Find Member feature. So all you do is just type in their name, their surname, or their ID number. You select a type of category or a reason why the person might have lost or their tag. Then you basically search for the member, and they're able to come up, and they're still able to then gym at your facility. Okay, cool. With the gate override, this is actually quite a nice feature. So basically, the gate override works in kind of a way, if you have a visitor come into your facility, or that kind of works hand in hand with someone that says that they're really interested in your facility, and they actually just firstly want to have a look at the layout and just make sure that everything kind of meets their requirements of what they want to work out at the time. Or if you do have some sort of inspection or anything like that, constructors, then you can always do anything like this. You basically type in a reason of why that person is coming in, and then there is a security feature that we have built into this feature just so it can't be abused. So basically, when you type in all those reasons, an admin will then have to scan their tag for the gate to then open, which is quite nice. Cool. Guest access. So basically, this goes hand in hand with what my colleague will go over after I am done with guest registration, really. So basically, you're basically able to use this as like, say, a day pass kind of feature. So if someone wants to sign up for a day, what you can do is you use our guest registration side. The person puts in their information, and then at the end, they will be given a token. So that token will only last for the day it is actually given out. But then you would put the token in there, you would submit it, and then it would basically allow that person into a gym to work out for that day if it is a day pass. Access token member key information. Now, I would say this is kind of like one of the most important sides of the access system. So this is kind of like the reason why you actually want to implement an access system at your facility. Basically, when that person scans either their fingerprint or their tag, if you click on the gate access side, you can have this open at all times at the reception. Basically, what happens is, as you can see there, that handsome man is me, um, and we can see all of my information is appearing there, and you can actually see if that person, and we can see in the green status bar that if that person is active or blocked. If the person is blocked, it will show a red banner of blocked, or if the person is owing any sort of outstanding amounts, it will actually show the amount the person is outstanding. But if for some strange reason the gate still isn't opening, you can use the member override feature on the right-hand side of that green active button. Okay, cool. This is where I'm going to hand over to my colleague Yaku, and he's going to go over some of our exciting new features with guest registration. Thank you very much. Yaku, take it away.
Okay, so we're very excited about the following. It's close to launch. We did final beta testing, and everything is approved and signed. So we're busy now getting all the information ready for everybody. But just give you an idea. So we do sit with I don't say a challenge, but we have a lot of we want everybody to have access to your world class facilities, and this is include guests, sales guests, 1 day passes. So what we did is that we've created a feature called guest registration. So this would be, it's more or less what you see on the video there. It's going to be a tablet that you can put in front desk. And then if a new guest comes in, if it's now, i.e. a sales tour, you can add contractors as well, or is it someone that wants to buy a guest pass? They'll be able to register as a non-member. They'll be able to get a access token, and then you can use that access token at front desk. So the whole goal for this is to alleviate overrides as much as possible, so that you don't have any overrides, because there is, with any clubs, with most clubs that we have discussed, we have worked with, there is sometimes abuse and overrides where you've got friends and reception helping people through, and unnecessary overrides. So the whole goal with guest registration is, number one, alleviate overrides. Number two, capturing the details, because that is a potential sale. If someone comes and wants to visit the club, that can become a sale. So just how that works is you go through, there's a screen, you enter your ID number, you go into your basic details, and then it will give you an access token, a token that you can go to access control, then you can use a token to access the gate, or you have the option to click on buy day pass, and then you'll be able to buy a day pass. There's some rules involved, so you can, for example, only get one free access token, for example, and then the rest you'll not be able to use the access token again. So that's and then basically we'll be able to provide reports for those non-member access as well. And also keep in mind that this does help with POPI compliance, just because the rule of POPI is that if someone, it's not about who can access the member, but but you need to have, the whole thing about POPI is that we need to track who's able to view the details. And if you've got sorry to say, but a manual book is a huge POPI violation, because anyone can see that data. That's why it's very, and with guest registration, it's not just registering guests, but we're also doing indemnity through the guest registration. That's why we're very excited. We'll share all the details as soon as we've got it and all the tutorials as soon as everything goes live. Okay, great. Now we're going to Q&A. So just when it comes to layout, the best layout for access control is your PC is right next to your turnstile or gate. Therefore, with that, so with that, Delana has just answered that question for you on that. And then just on the setup, so that it's just, there's always a huge complications when it comes to access. You don't want to overcomplicate the technical side of access control. And as soon as a gate is too far from the access PC, it becomes technically the probability of the chances of failure or hardware failure just becomes more and more the if we need to extend or make it better. That's why doing your setup and layout first is a very important part of access control and your gym layout.
Definitely
great
with that.
I think we 2 minutes over. I don't want to waste everybody's time. Thank you everybody for attending the session. We'll share the videos afterwards, and I hope everybody has a great day and enjoy the rest of your day, and good luck with all your businesses, studios, clubs, and I hope 2024 is the best year ever. Thank you everybody. Enjoy.
Thank you everyone.
Okay, bye.
Cheers for now.